And let's go to Rob D'Amico now. He's a former FBI supervisory special agent, works in cybersecurity crisis management. I mean, Rob, this is amazing. CrowdStrike, the company responsible for this, which I feel pretty much on safe ground saying most people would not have heard of it until today. And then all of a sudden it turns out the world stops when CrowdStrike messes up. They said, quote, "Today was not a security or cyber incident. We understand the gravity of the situation, are deeply sorry for the inconvenience and disruption." So they immediately came out and said, no, it was a software patch, which is kind of amazing that could bring the world to a halt. Are you skeptical that CrowdStrike was so quick to say this was not a cyber attack?
I absolutely am. I mean, their existence is cybersecurity. So imagine if they came in and said, "We don't know," or if it turns out that it was, who's going to hire them after that? And they're a billion-dollar company; they're very expensive, and they claim it's a defect. Well, do they know how that defect got there? Is it that they're cheaply outsourcing their code writing to countries like India? Now, India has great code writers, but they also have very subpar ones. And if you get that subcontracting down to the cheaper ones, you're going to get bad code writers, and they're not doing quality assurance. So, or a malicious insider. That happened with some Linux issues before, where someone inside actually purposely put the code in there. So I don't think they have an idea of how that defect got there, but they're very quick EO out front and getting that out there, but it's ruining the trust of the other companies, which is going downhill.
I just wonder, I mean, this is a national security thing, it would seem to me, and maybe others have the same shock. I mean, you think about a company like NVIDIA, which a lot of people hadn't heard of, and then it turns out every single, item in the world has NVIDIA in it. And now CrowdStrike, people haven't heard of it, and it turns out that you can't go to a department store, you can't get your room key card done, you can't get in at customs, you can't fly, because CrowdStrike has an issue. I mean, am I right to think that there could be very serious national security implications of a U.S. company, that could do all of this?
So there's two issues. One, like you talked about, nation state. There's nation state cyber actors that are looking specifically what happened. They might not be involved with how it happened, but they're looking at what happened, what were the reactions, what the reaction times were, how they fixed it, so that if they look at an offensive cyber operation against the United States, they can map out what was done. That we found that in Iraq and Afghanistan wars, that they were looking at testing things, and the reactions are big. The other one is the cyber actors, even if they weren't involved in it, they're now taking advantage of it. They quickly got domain names close to CrowdStrike, and they're doing phishing attempts now. There's a list of people who were affected, and quote, engineers from CrowdStrike were calling them trying to gain access. So it's bigger than most people think.
All right. Well, Rob, thank you very much. Certainly sobering for everyone to just realize what happened today.